So in today's video, I'm going to actually be talking about something that was announced by Dead by Daylight on Twitter very recently, and that's the fact that in November, the cenobite is going to be getting killer tweaks. Now, this is kind of a big deal because Pinhead has not received any major changes to his kit at all or anything since the artist came to Dead by Daylight. Artist was the killer that came out immediately after Pinhead, and he received some balancing changes then. And other than that, he received a single change, I want to say several months ago, that made it so that the chains during a chain hunt will no longer continue to spawn on you while you are solving the box. This makes it so that you can solve the box in peace, but the pinhead can still interrupt you by hitting you with the possessed chain. But other than that, he has been unchanged since the artist came to Dead by Daylight, which was 27 months ago. That was more than 2 years ago, so quite a long time ago. And one of the killers I think that has received one of the least amount of balancing changes out of all of the killers in the game. There are many killers in the game. Trapper, who has gotten balance changes 3-4 times. Nurse, who's gotten them 3-4 times. Billy, who's gotten them 3-4-5 times. The only killers that I can think of that have not gotten those amount of changes at this time would be someone like Myers, who has only gotten very, very minor changes over the years, but has stayed relatively the same. Even Huntress, someone who is a very basic killer, she's been buffed several times, but really, Pinhead got the initial changes after PTB, which is very common for killers to get changes after their PTB. But other than that, it was basically 3 months later after they said they felt like he deserved a few add-on nerfs because he was overperforming. They nerfed a bunch of his add-ons, which were in fact very, very overpowered. And now they're in a much better spot, the ones that were nerfed. For example, one of them being Engineer's Fang. You were absolutely crazy, and you do not deserve an opinion on anything in this game if you think that add-on did not deserve a nerf. It absolutely did. And then other add-ons such as Layers of Mains and Liquefied Gore, they had their times reduced from 4 down to 2 and from 2 down to 1 to where they are right now. And of course, I asked Mandy on Twitter, I said if I could get any sort of information on what this could possibly be, but you know, because it's so far out still, she said she couldn't give me any info until it came a little bit closer, which is perfectly understandable. But it makes me a little scared because I have no idea if this is going to be nerfs, buffs, quality of life changes. I really don't know. So I'm going to start with things that I want to see changed on this killer, and I'll talk with things that I do not think need to be touched at all. So number one, the easiest thing is going to be certain add-ons. There are a lot of add-ons that I think are very pointless. For example, Larry's Blood, Slice of Frank to a degree, Torture Pillar, I think Flicker... Actually, I'm going to come back to that one. Spoiled Meal and Bent Nail, Burning Candle. I think those add-ons need to just be completely reworked into something else. Slice of Frank, I actually think is okay, but it just needs to be buffed. It needs to get more effects. It just needs to do more because right now it just feels lacking. But those other add-ons I mentioned, they need to be reworked. They're completely pointless. I don't need to go over what they do because they're just pointless. They need to be changed. I think Original Pain should get reworked to be able to apply the broken status effect for 60 seconds. Because I think making it so that it's a deep wound is just too good for tunneling people, and it's just doesn't feel all that good. I think if they made it so it broke survivors that are injured, I think that would be a much more interesting add-on for him, and definitely play that little bit of a, we need to, you know, cause some pain and suffering to survivors. So I think that would be okay. But, you know, other than that, I actually think all of his add-ons are fine. I just think that also, I will say really fast, Flickering Television and Liquefied Gore, I think it would be cool if these just became base kit. Give him an extra 4 meters on his reach and give him an extra 1 second on the box solve time. I think that would be perfect. It would allow him to play around the box a little bit easier because there are times where it feels like it cannot be done unless you're running add-ons that do such things. That's one reason why I love Larry's Remains and Frank's Heart. So that's why I think they should go ahead and just make 2 of these base kit. If they need to make adjustments to other add-ons because of that, I think that would be mostly okay. but I do think that they should go ahead and do that. That would definitely be great. And then they should combine certain add-ons together. Skewered Rat and Leather Strip should just be one add-on. Rework Leather Strip to do something else and combine it with Skewered Rat. I think that would definitely make the add-on more interesting, and it would not be OP at all because it only removes a little bit more than half a second on his power. So it really is not wouldn't make a huge deal, but that way you could at least use it with something else and still feel like you're at least getting decent value out of it. I think that would be a great change. And then combine lively crickets with the wriggling maggots. Those should just be together and then increase the effect. Rework the lively crickets to do something else and then make the wriggling maggots actually go ahead and increase that effect. I don't know, make it 40%, 45%. It really wouldn't be all that crazy if it was that high. I just think it would be definitely a much more interesting add-on if it did something like that. Buff it from 15 to like 45%, 45%, and then make lively crickets something completely different. And then bent nail as a troll add-on. I'm kind of tired of the troll add-ons, especially when they're not funny. Like clown has a funny one that makes the bottles pop, but it's not really hindering you at all. So I think bent nail should just be reworked to actually do something else. Maybe make bent nail, make it so that I don't know, that they get the sloppy effect for 40 seconds. I don't know, something just much more interesting because right now it's just a flat out nerf to its power for BP, and it's just not interesting. I think it would be interesting if they just made it do something completely different. But that's my personal opinion on the add-ons. I think those are the changes that they should make, and anything else completely unnecessary. Even original pain, not original pain. I think impaling wire. Yes, it's very strong, but I think it's okay the way it is for the most part. They could make a one or two little small changes to it, I bet, and it'd still be okay. But I am okay with it being strong because I think every killer deserves at least one or two, moderately strong add-ons, because I wouldn't say it's OP because it's definitely not overpowered, but it's definitely a good add-on. And I actually think this add-on is actually, for the most part, okay. Maybe they could just make it. There's something they could change to it to make it less frustrating to go against, but maintain overall most of its strength. They could probably maybe do something, but for the most part, I really don't think it needs to be changed all that much. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. And then going into base kit things really fast, I do think, again, because like I said, I think the extra range and the liquefied gore should be base kit. I think that would be totally okay. But I think also hitting a survivor from extreme distances with the chain should give Pinhead some sort of a buff, like a speed boost. Maybe it reveals their aura if you hit a survivor that's within 30 or more meters away from you when you hit them with the chain. It should reveal their aura for like 6 seconds or something. So you get kind of like a grease black lens basically default, but it's only when you hit someone from extreme ranges, and then give him some sort of a speed boost. That could be really interesting. That wouldn't get him hits on those survivors, but I think that would be really cool, and they should go ahead and do something like that. That would be neat. And then other than that, though, I don't think anything with the chain hunt or the box needs to be changed. On the exception again of the liquefied gore being base kit, I just think that again, and that these are just small nitpick things. I don't think they don't have to be like that, but they're just things that I think they could add to him and it would be perfectly okay. Not make him too OP, but I really, really think that there should be no changes to the box system at all. Box logic is perfectly okay. Don't touch that at all. That's one of those things where if they touch that and they change that, that's a great way for me to just quit this killer because I love the box logic system. It's super fun. It's one of those things that it's like if you're pulling it off, you can decimate even really, really good teams. And it's one of those things that's just really, really fun with Pinhead. And if they go ahead and they change that to or something like that, then that's a great way for me to just quit playing Pinhead, and that would just not be good. Especially since I love this killer so much. And so please don't, please, for the love of God, just leave the box system alone. Leave everything with the chain hunt alone. It's completely fine. Like if there was something you wanted to do to buff it, just like a hair, sure, but don't nerf it. Like it's better to just leave it the way it is. Just don't nerf it. That's my only thing. And then, yeah, so like I said, it was a big deal that he's getting these changes because he has not gotten any changes on the exception of that one chain hunt change where the chains don't interrupt you while solving the box anymore. He has received basically no changes on the exception of fixing some exploits and stuff like that. He has been unchanged since the artist came to the game, which is crazy because he received his initial changes after the PTB, and then he received the changes after artist PTB, which were like a nerf for his add-ons and a few other small things. And he's just been unchanged since then. Very few killers have received as little changes as he has. He's received basically one set of changes and then one. And when I say a set of changes, I mean like a bunch of things that were actually considered like a tweak. Like if one thing gets changed, I don't think that's like a crazy tweak. That's just a patch almost. I don't even know how to explain that. But like a killer like Dredge, I don't think he's received that many. But again, most killers have received, a bunch of changes. At least the ones who have been out for a little bit. But Pinhead has been untouched for over 2 years for the most part. So that's why I'm a little scared about this. So let me know what you guys hope they will end up doing and what you hope they don't touch. And just give me your thoughts. And then, of course, let's hope that this is not going to be anything bad, and they keep him pretty much exactly the same. Maybe a few buffs. I would be okay with that as long as it wasn't too crazy. I just don't want them. Don't give him some like auto aim or anything like that. Keep him. I want him to be difficult. I want him to be difficult because he still is a difficult killer. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just want to let you guys know. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video. The second I get any information on the changes that he's getting, I'm going to sit down and do a video on that. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Also, real quick, I just need to add, this is actually being recorded a little bit separately from the other part of the commentary I was talking about, but I felt it was very important to include it nonetheless. I hate to be a bit of a fear-mongering kind of person that gives information that can kind of make people nervous, but on the topic of Pinhead and the cenobite, and I feel like it's important to say this, but there is a very small possibility, be it, again, take this with a massive grain of salt, but again, I feel like it is important to share that there is a very small chance that the reason we are getting these changes for Pinhead here in November is because we are going to be losing the Hellraiser license. Now, again, take this with a massive grain of salt, and the reason I say this is because of the fact that the licenses for Dead by Daylight actually are renewed every year, typically around September, October, November, typically closer to November, but that's when they're re-signed. And there's a chance that the reason they're doing this is because they are going to be losing the license to Pinhead. And if that is the case, that is going to be absolutely devastatingly sad, considering that Pinhead is a very fun killer. I hope that's not the case, but I just want to throw it out there. This is just information that I have been told. I don't know anything for sure, but the second I learn anything else on that particular topic, then I will let you guys know. But other than that, I will talk to you about the other parts of Pinhead that I would like to see changed and all of that good stuff. But again, I just want to throw that information out there. I hope I don't get anyone, like, I guess you could say scared or nervous, but I feel like it's important. So yeah, that's it.